Hello and welcome to Code Next Door. My name is Andre, and today we will be going over conditionals in Elixir. Elixir provides several conditionals in order to allow developers to make decisions based on certain conditions and execute a specific set of code accordingly. One of the first ones is if, and in Elixir it's used in order to evaluate a condition and execute a block of code if that condition is true. For example, here we have a map with a key name and a value of Andre. And we can say if map.name is equal to Andre, we can execute and say hello Andre. If we were to run this, we get hello Andre, which is expected because the key map.name has a value of Andre, and that's what we're checking against. But you can also have an else option in order to specify the opposite. So let's take a look at that. So in this case, if it's not Andre, we just say hello. And in this case, the value is Josh. So when we execute this code, we just get hello. But there is an alternative to this, which is known as unless. And what unless is, it's just the opposite of the if statement, and it will only execute the block of code if that condition is false. So we can take a look at that. And in this case, the value is Josh, and we're checking that it's Andre. So in this case, it will be false. So the code inside the block will execute. But in this, you can also use the else option. So here we just say, if it's Josh, we say hello. Otherwise, we say hello Josh. And we get hello Josh. So we're executing the block of code inside of the else. But we also have cond. And cond is used to evaluate multiple conditions. And each block of code will be executed if that first condition is true. And it's useful when we have multiple conditions that we have to consider. So take, for instance, we have a map that has the value Josh for the key name, and we are checking, we have multiple conditions and we're going to check each one, and the first one that is deemed true is what will be returned. So we have map.name, we're checking if it's Andre or if it's Josh. So in this case, we get hello Josh because map.name is Josh. And we also have true, which is just a catch-all. So if none of the ones above are going to be true conditions, then we execute the very last one, which is the catch-all. We can also have case. And case is very similar to cond, but in this case, we're pattern matching on different values, and it allows us to handle multiple cases with different blocks of code. So if we take a look, it looks very similar, but we're passing in a map.name, and the map.name is Josh. So instead of having the equals to equals like we did above and having the full condition, we're just going to pattern match on that value. So if we get Josh, we'll just get hello Josh, which is exactly what we get here because the value for the key name is Josh. And then we also have the similar catch-all at the end, which will just say hello. Now we can take a look at one of the very powerful things in Elixir, pattern matching. And it's used in order to define function clauses with different argument patterns. And when that function is called, Elixir will match on the given arguments with a defined pattern. And if that's found, that block of code will be executed. And we can actually pattern match on the head of the function definition, which can be useful to extract values from complex data structures like a map, for example. So let's take a look. So we have a module defined here called pattern match, and we have a multi-clause function called fun, and we're looking at the map, and we're seeing if the key name has a value of Andre, Josh, or the catch-all, which will just be printing out hello. When we call this on a map with the value Andre for the key name, we get hello Josh, hello Andre. And if we were to change this to be Josh and we run it, we get hello Josh. And if we were to say something like Betty and we were to run that, we just get hello, because that is the catch-all when we don't actually have a match. And if we were even to take a step further and remove this and were to run this, you get an error saying no clause matching, because we didn't actually handle that. Next we have with, which is very useful when you might want to reach for a nested case or in situations where you can't cleanly pipe some set of data together. And in the event that an expression will fail to match, the non-matching variable will be returned instead. If we take a look at an example here, we have two modules that are simulating fetching data, one user and one account. And then on line 9, you can see we have a with, and then similar syntax to the for comprehension Elixir with the generator, where we're going to be binding to a variable user, or for fetch user, and account for fetch account. And if both of these match correctly, we are going to be returning success. And in this case, if we were to run it, we get success. And you can also add else to this as well. So if we were to say add else here and say, okay, when we get an error tuple back, we are going to say and then we can say go back up here and say, okay, we're going to return error for when we get the account. If we were to run this now, we will get error because we can't match on the tuple on line 10. We can't get an okay tuple back, we're getting an error back, so now we get the error case. But Elixir, for best practices, advises not doing this and just handling the errors on that function specifically and not inside the with, and just to keep the with clean. Next, we have guards. And guards are just additional conditions to function clauses, which allows the developer to specify conditions to be met in order for a function to be executed. And the keyword is when in order to create a guard. So if we take a look at guards, here we have a module called guards with a function fun, which is just taking a map. And on the guard, it looks kind of similar to the if statement that we create above, where we're checking if map.name is equal to Andre or if it's equal to Josh. So rather than creating an if, you can just use a guard, just say, and using the when keyword on the function, and it'll know what function to actually execute based off of that condition. So if we were to run this here, we get hello Andre. And if we were to change this to be Josh and run that, we get Josh. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on conditionals in Elixir. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and give us any feedback on what else you want to see.